What's up, everybody? My name's Big Cam and welcome back to another movie review. And today we are talking about 2025's J. Kelly, now streaming on Netflix. And this is a Noah Baumbach directed film, and I know him from such things like Marriage Story. He did White Noise a few years back. Says he's done a few films, 17 films, so he's been around. He was also a writer on Barbie, The Fantastic Mr. Fox, Madagascar 3, Life Aquatica. Interesting. And Noah Baumbach's a name that I recognize, but this film stars J. Kelly, who is George Clooney in this movie, and his wonderful performance by his manager, Ron, who is played by Adam Sandler. And I love when Adam gets to play, you know, serious roles and not just be the comedy guy, you know what I mean? Like, so many people think of him as just like the Happy Hanukkah song from SNL and in his early days there, or, you know, Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore or Waterboy. You know, like, he is one of the funniest men alive. But he's also shown in the most recent years with like Uncut Gems and, you know, this movie, J. Kelly, that he can do some serious stuff too, and he's not just purely the funny guy, you know, and he's actually quite a gifted actor, you know, and like the scene right at the end of the movie, you know, really sealed it home for me that I actually quite liked this movie. And it's funny because I was watching a Oscar, you know, Best Picture nominated picture yesterday called The Secret Agent, and it was very good, and I can see why it's nominated, but it's not necessarily my type of film where you're following this guy and it's fully Spanish, and like, it was very well done and very good. But this was much more my vibe, where it's like following this story of this actor and the story of his life, and he's like, you know, late in his career, and he's like, God, I hope I have one more picture in me, and, you know, maybe I don't, and he's like, you know, dealing with the people around him, but he just wants to be a dad, but he's a bad dad, and he's like a great dad in film, but he can't do it to his own children, and he's like trying to figure it out. And, you know, it's kind of incredibly sad, some of the relationships he's got with like Riley Keough's character. Jessica is his daughter, or Grace Edwards is his other daughter, and then Billy Crudup is like his former friend that like he stole his idea and got his first role in a movie, but then like stole this guy's life, and he's now a child therapist and he's a movie star, and it could have been the other way around just from this one decision that the kid made in an audition. And like, his character of Timothy didn't audition well, but George Clooney had the vibes going and he got the part, you know. And then now J. Kelly is who he is, you know, and he's now a famous movie star, and he's going around places, and his kids are like, I don't want you around, you know, you're a pain in my ass. But, you know, I understand that everybody, you know, you've affected many people in your work and your movies, you know, you make a lot of people happy, but the people he wants to make happy, his family, his kids, he doesn't. And then that in turn is making him feel lonely. And she's like, you always have people around him. He goes, no, I don't. But then there is always people around him, but it's people that work for him and not his friends or his family, and he's just alone. And then he gets to like the last rung on the rope, you know what I mean, and the last knot, and he's finally to the end of his rope, and he's like, God, nobody cares about me, nobody likes me. He goes, everyone just works for me. He goes, I have no friends, no family, or this big tribute for me. This other guy's got all of his family here, and I got nobody. And then he finally realizes towards the end of the movie, you know, like, he's thrown everything away pretty much, and then he's like, you know what, Ron? Talking to Adam Sandler, his you know, manager, his agent, but Ron always considered them friends, and he's like, friends don't take 15%. So then he's like, I'm done with you. But then at the very end, he's like, you got a tribute. You're all the way in Italy. Come on. You might as well go to it. He goes, will you go with me as my friend? And then they sit there holding hands during this tribute, and you just see a tear roll down Adam Sandler's face. It was very moving to me. You know, like, I don't know if it was moving to many people, but like, as somebody that, you know, has longed to try and act and wants to be in movies and wants to be around movies and talk about movies, and, you know, like, I love this stuff, particularly the movie industry. So like, a movie about an actor in the industry and like things going on around it, and it's George Clooney, it's Adam Sandler, you know, there's funny parts to it, but there's also just like super moving at moments, and like, he's going through his life, And I think this is like a stage play that they've turned into a movie, and I would love to see this as a stage play, because like, you know, he goes from these different locations, but it's funny because like he's in his own head as an actor, so like he's seeing conversations with other people over the phone, he's seeing as if they're right there walking through the woods with him, or like, you know, he's on a train and he opens a door and then all of a sudden he walks into a memory of, you know, he's in a therapist's room and he's like, you know, reliving a memory from his past instead of walking into the next cabin of the train, you know, and then he's, you know, walks back into the train and goes back into reality. But like there's moments of like reality and then him having a memory and then living in that memory and walking around in it, and it's crazy because like it's George Clooney, so the whole time I'm like, you know, this is George Clooney, but then you're trying to see him as Jake Kelly, but then at the end of the movie in the tribute, Jake Kelly is George Clooney, and we see all these, you know, flashbacks of all these great George Clooney roles. I mean, how many movies has this guy done? 110? Jesus Christ. Ocean's 11, Fantastic Mr. Fox. He was in The Flash for a brief moment, if you know, you know. You know, Gravity, Burn After Reading, Oh Brother Art Thou, Spy Kids? He was in Spy Kids? He's making Ocean's 14, I believe, right now. He was in Batman and Robin as Batman. He was All Hail Caesar. He was in Wolves with Brad Pitt. Michael Clayton, Up in the Air, Tickets to Paradise, Tomorrowland, Out of Sight. I mean, dude, just so many movies. I mean, just endless amounts of movies. Catch-22, The American. He's been around a long time making these goddamn movies, you know what I mean? And he's got Ocean's 14 still in the works. You know, he was born in 61, so he's, you know, he's up there in 60-something years old now. 60, what, 5? Yeah. Still looking good, George Clooney. Love to see it. And I wrote in my review, I thought it was hilarious that, like, you know, George is an old man, and they had him running in this film. Like, he had chased down a criminal that stole a woman's bag on the train, and then he's running, you know, to get after a cab, and he's, you know, like, he's just always running. I was like, Jesus Christ, he's old. Like, he's not running very fast, but he's like 60-something, and they had him just running all over the place. I'm like, God damn it. Take it easy on poor George. Like, God damn. But the little Letterboxd synopsis on Letterboxd reads, everybody knows Jake Kelly, but Jake Kelly doesn't know himself. Famous movie actor Jake Kelly embarks on a journey of self-discovery confronting both his past and present, accompanied by his devoting manager, Ron, and his devoting manager, you know, Adam Sandler. You know, there's comedy moments in this, but there's also a lot of heart in this, and it's also just like this story that you can easily grasp and like you're just willing to follow, and you're like, okay, cool. You know, like I didn't feel like stressed during this movie, like my brain was hurting trying to figure it out. You know, like it was just a solid little movie, you know, and it is exactly what it says it's going to be. It's a movie about Jake Kelly, and he's confronting his past and present, and he's got his buddy Ron alongside with him, and Ron's dealing with his own struggles as well, you know, like I thought it was very well done, you know, and overall I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. And if I had to give it a true 10 score, it's not quite an 8 out of 10. It's probably something close to like a 7.8, 7.7, 7.9, you know, right on the top end of that 7 out of 10. Almost an 8 out of 10 for me. But 3.5 out of 5 stars is what I listed it on Letterboxd is my score. And yeah, maybe a movie I'll watch again in the future, but I think one and done for this one gets it done. And I don't know if this is Oscar nominated, but I believe it was Golden Globe nominated and Critics' Choice Award nominated. I don't think they won, but I do think Adam Sandler should have gotten a good old nomination for this role. And I don't think he'll win because there's plenty of other roles with better supporting actors and just better movies in general. But I did really enjoy this, and I thought it was well done. And if you want to check it out yourself, it's now streaming on Netflix. And yeah, 132 minutes, just over 2 hours, so it wasn't too bad a runtime either. They're in Italy, so there's some beautiful scenery, and they're on a train driving, you know, riding through countryside, so there's some beautiful shots in this as well. In Italy, I mean, any movie filmed in Italy I can watch happily and just be like, this is beautiful, you know, like just not filmed in LA or in some studio, you know what I mean? Like when it's actually on set and location and you get these beautiful backdrops, there's something about that really adds to a movie. But that's it for me, y'all. Another review, and stay tuned for Friday's review for another James Bond movie where Sean Connery is back as Bond and never say never again. I believe this is his last appearance as Bond, but stay tuned for that coming out Friday. Jay Kelly movie review today, so stay tuned, y'all. We're heading into Valentine's Day weekend. I might go try and catch a movie this weekend. Crime 101 looks pretty good. There's a couple other films that are out in theaters right now. It looks pretty good. So go watch some movies, and thank you guys so much if you made it this far into the video. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this movie or your score, or go follow me on Letterboxd, and I'd love to hear your score, and you can see what movies I've watched this year. I'd love to hear those thoughts though down in the comment section below, or you can message me on my other social medias, Bigg Cam, 2 G's in the Big, pretty much anywhere, and you can find me. Just look for this face. And once again, if you've made it this far in the video and you would like to support the channel, the best way of doing that is liking this video, commenting down below, subscribing if you haven't already, and hit that bell so you don't miss future movie reviews and you get the notifications when those come out. Once again, my name's Bigg Cam, and I'll see you beautiful people in the next video. Peace!